Hello, friends. As always, I'm glad to see you on my channel IML. Finally, the time has come to tell you how the vacation of an ordinary sailor actually goes. I hope you'll enjoy this episode from my life. And as in my latest videos, I continue to share with you my life experience as well as, in my opinion, fascinating stories from my life. And I'm already over 50. So here we go.
Good visa, my friend. Oh, chef, good evening.
By the 6th month of a voyage, you begin to feel exhausted, and your thoughts and desires are more and more directed toward home and meeting your family. But no matter how difficult it may be, you must finish your contract no matter what.
Oh. Captain, I make video. Have a safe voyage.
Sure.
Yeah,
And they wait
okay.
again, sure.
Of course, during your time on board, you manage to become friends and get very close to many crew members, and become sad when you think about the upcoming separation because you have been through so much together, productive work, emergency situations, numerous barbecues, fishing trips, walks into the city, and many other fun moments. But still, the most important thing in my opinion is organizing your daily routine
Big land.
as if it were a lifestyle. Otherwise, we simply won't succeed.
Быстрее, быстрее, если можно. Только не упади.
And what is also very important is to follow this routine both at sea and on shore during vacation. Of course, on shore there is much more variety, and in the end it becomes even more interesting. There is fitness and yoga, and even ice skating, and climbing on the rocks of the breakwaters. That is a story of its own. Probably it was exactly on those stones that I strengthened my legs like nowhere else. There was also billiards and bowling.
Где видео пропустили?
Смотри, они друг друга кусают, эти лебеди.
Which also had a positive effect on my audit and on the of my family, and not only mine. And what can I say about the walks along the fantastic lake with white swans? We sometimes fed them during the coldest days. But truly, the most relaxing memories are connected with watching the local half-lazy fishermen who would put on real fishing shows. Of course, we did not miss visiting the city center with its traditions and singing and the magnificent sound of the saxophone.
I leave home tonight.
And to fully recover, what really helped me was my repaired bicycle. On which I rode hundreds of kilometers along the roads of Romania, and I was simply happy. I wish you an enjoyable viewing. So, my friends, I continue my sea saga. And I remind you that this video is dedicated to restoring the physical and moral health of a sailor after a difficult voyage. Here I will show and describe in detail the entire process of rehabilitation and recovery, and I will also share the secrets of my mastery. And this is daily work on yourself and the strictest adherence to daily schedules. Make yourselves comfortable. We are starting. The very first thing I did upon arriving in Constanza was to enroll my entire family in an excellent sports club. It was a real world-class level. In fact, almost all of my 4 months of vacation were spent in this sports club, and it was magnificent. There was fitness, yoga, an ice rink, as well as swimming, and all of this was located inside a huge shopping and entertainment complex. But the biggest drive that my younger son and I experienced was when we went out in the evenings onto the artificial breakwaters that protect the coastline from being destroyed by waves. They were made of natural stones and concrete structures, and we jumped on them like grasshoppers, strengthening our legs and training our focus.
Land. Here we are.
We returned home filled with some kind of inner energy and a pleasant fatigue.
Hey!
after which you sleep perfectly and good. Deep sleep is always the key to excellent health. We went out onto those stones in any weather, and only in the rain did we run on them with special caution, so as not to slip.
Ты жив? Very good. Быстрее, быстрее, если можно. Только не упади.
Our next hobby was billiards. It is a game that is practically impossible to fully master in a short time. We played it almost every week, both with family and with friends. It was always fun and interesting.
Поехали.
Then we gradually shifted toward bowling, where accuracy and skill are also required. But of course the rules are somewhat different.
Все, поехали.
And as it seemed to me, bowling was much easier than billiards. Although I must say that after numerous throws of a rather heavy ball, my right arm hurt for quite a long time. But in the end, everyone was satisfied, and the score turned out exactly like the one you see on the screen. Then we visited the zoo, where we observed rather tired and dirty animals. A thought crept in that this was, of course, far from Europe, although some animals were still in good condition.
That's strange, something strange.
And the day turned out to be sunny. So overall, the mood was once again high.
Say something, say something. Это ты? Here we are. Yeah, good church. Maybe we should look at this. Look at this. Beautiful. This is show. Very nice. Look at this lake.
Где видео про гусей?
A separate story is the forever hungry swans of Constanza, especially hungry during the cold season, and we often went out to the lake to feed them. Swans are very beautiful birds, always elegant.
Смотри, они друг друга кусают, эти лебеди.
Snow white in color, gracefully gliding across the water surface. Sometimes we even witnessed fierce fights for food, which ended with the weaker swan being driven away from the feeding place. Later, we saw a young swan family. The female was building a nest and preparing to produce offspring, while the male swan was hunting, trying to debut something tasty. Sometimes kayaks appeared in these waters, and in them sat future champions. All this picture was decorated by local fishermen, fanatically trying to catch at least some fish from the reservoir. But honestly speaking, I did not see any serious catch. Only once did we find an old man who had caught a bucket of large mussels. And according to him, he had dived for them beyond the 2-mile zone. He asked 12 Romanian lei per kilogram. And although this time I was without my own fishing gear, simply observing the Romanian fishermen brought me indescribable pleasure and joy, because I dreamed that one day I myself would finally go fishing somewhere near Cherkasy. In the city center, it was fun and noisy. Musicians were playing.
Alright, I'll be home tonight. I'm coming back home.
And people were leisurely wandering around the city, and we were among them. For about a month, my bicycle was broken. And when it was finally repaired, I was simply happy and, out of joy, rode several hundred kilometers. Cycling is also a very useful activity for restoring physical health. And the constant change of scenery during the rides distracted me from routine thoughts, and also had a beneficial effect on my preparation for the upcoming voyage. I rode everywhere, but I especially liked the city center and the rides along the sea toward Novodari. Approximately in this way my Romanian vacation passed, and I would wish every sailor, just like me, to truly enjoy it and prepare for serious work. And now, back to the sea, but already with fresh strength and a clear head. I know for sure that I am ready for challenges and will calmly complete my next 6-month contract. I hope this video was at least a little useful to you. See you again on the Blue Horizons.
Okay, one time, short.
Yeah, it's finally.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed the video.